little brown hut that we call home. She drinks gin, I drink rum. Between us we have lots of fun. Ha ha ha! You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. Ha ha ha! You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. If I had a cow that gave such milk, I'd dress her up in the finest silk. I'd feed her on the finest hay, milk her 20 times a day. Ha ha ha! You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. Ha ha ha! You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. It's you that makes my friends my foes, you that makes me wear all clothes. But seeing you're so near my nose, tip you up and down she goes. Ha ha ha! You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. Ha ha ha! You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. Now when I die, don't bury me at all, just pickle my bones in alcohol. Put a bottle of booze at my head and feet, then I'm sure that I will keep. You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. Is red, my nose is too, the violet's blue, and so are you. Now just once before we stop, let's all have another drop. Ha ha ha! You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. Ha ha ha! You and me, little brown jug, how I love thee. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva la compagnie. Here's the toast I give you tonight, viva la compagnie. A friend on the left, a friend on the right, viva la compagnie. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva la compagnie. All you good fellas come join in the song, viva la compagnie. Take up the toast, pass it along, viva la compagnie. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva la compagnie. Here's to the landlord, here's to his wife, viva la compagnie. Give him a happy and prosperous life, viva la compagnie. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva la compagnie. Viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva la, viva la, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva l'amor, viva la compagnie. For it's beer, beer, beer that makes us feel so queer in the car, in the car. It is beer, beer, beer that makes us feel so queer in the quartermaster car. Mine eyes are dim, I cannot see. I have not brought my specs with me. I have not brought my specs with me. For it's ale, ale, ale that makes me look so pale in the car, in the car. It is ale, ale, ale that makes me look so pale in the quartermaster car. Mine eyes are dim, I cannot see. I have not brought my specs with me. I have not brought my specs with me. Oh, it's wine, wine, wine that makes me feel so fine in the car, in the car. It's Wine, wine, wine makes me feel so fine in the quartermaster corps. Mine eyes are dim, I cannot see. I have not brought my specs with me. I have not brought my specs with me. For it's whiskey, whiskey, whiskey that makes me feel so frisky in the car, in the car. It's whiskey, whiskey, whiskey that makes me feel so frisky in the quartermaster corps. Mine eyes are dim, I cannot see. I have not brought my specs with me. I have not brought my specs with me. For it's gin, gin, gin that makes me wanna grin in the car, in the car. It's gin, gin, gin that makes me wanna grin in the quartermaster's corps. Mine eyes are dim, I cannot see. I have not brought my specs with me. I have not brought my specs with me. Three jolly coachmen sat in an English tavern. Three jolly coachmen sat in an English tavern, and they decided that, and they decided that, and they decided that they'd have another flagon. For tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, tomorrow we'll be sober. Ah, here's to the man who drinks light ale and goes to bed cold sober. Here's to the man who drinks light ale and goes to bed cold sober. He falls as the leaves do fall, he falls as the leaves do fall, he falls as the leaves do fall early in October. For tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, tomorrow we'll be sober. Ah, here's to the man who drinks stout ale and goes to bed so mellow. Here's to the man who drinks stout ale and goes to bed so mellow. He lives as he ought to live, he lives as he ought to live, he lives as he ought to live, he'll be a jolly fellow. For tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, tomorrow we'll be sober. Now here's to the girl who steals a kiss and runs to tell her mother. Here's to the girl who steals a kiss and runs to tell her mother. She does a very foolish thing, she does a very foolish thing, she does a very foolish thing, she'll never get another. For tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, tomorrow we'll be sober. Ah, here's to the girl who steals a kiss and lingers for another. Here's to the girl who steals a kiss and lingers for another. She is a boon to all mankind, she is a boon to all mankind, she is a boon to all mankind, she'll be a jolly mother. For tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, for tonight we'll merry, merry be, tomorrow we'll be sober. It was early one morning I walked into town, and in sweet recreation I was strolling around, when I spied this hotel in the forafternoon that was sporting a sign, said the Red Light Saloon. So I boldly walked in and I stepped to the bar, where a pretty young lady said, "Have a cigar." I took that cigar, saying thanks for the boon, but she said, "That's our way in the Red Light Saloon." Then she mussed up my hair and sat down on my knee, saying, "You are a logger, it's easy to see," saying, "You are a lumberjack, that we all know, for your muscles are hard from your head to your toe." She proceeded to test if my muscles were right, till I smoked that cigar without striking the light. My head it was rising like a balloon from the treatment I got in the Red Light Saloon. It was early next morning, I bid her goodbye. She waved from the window with a tear in her eye. So I did not discover till the middle of June I was carrying a keepsake of the Red Light Saloon. Well, I cursed that young lady till the heaven turned blue, and with whiskey and women I swore I was through. But with all of my swearing, I'd give my fortune just to be back in bed in the Red Light Saloon. In 61 we was near to done when we run aground in a blinding sun, but the ship was saved while the captain reigned. We blasted her off with our Gatling gun. We'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. We'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. We'll go to Mother Rackets and we'll pawn a monkey jackets, and we'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. Now 62 we was near to through, for the mainsail went and the mizzen too. So we sewed our pants to the top gallants. We made it to home as good as new. We'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. We'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. We'll go to Mother Rackets and we'll pawn a monkey jackets, and we'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. Now in 63 for the company, we was loaded down with cans of tea. We said it may be grand for the lubbers on the land, but it's good old grog for the boys at sea. We'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. We'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. We'll go to Mother Rackets and we'll pawn a monkey jackets, and we'll have another drink before the boat shoves off. There was a little man and he had a little can, and he used to rush the growler. You go to a saloon on a Sunday afternoon, and you ought to hear the bartender holler, "No more booze, no more booze, no more booze on Sunday. No more booze, no more booze, gotta get your can filled Monday." She's the only girl I ever did love, with a face like a horse in the buggy, standing up against the wall. Fireman saved my child, but the child was bigger than the fireman. There was a little man and he had a little dog, and he took him to the parlor, fed him up with gin till the dog began to grin. You ought to hear the landlady holler, "No more booze, no more booze, no more booze on Sunday. No more booze, no more booze. Gotta get your can filled Monday. She's the only girl I ever did love, with a face like a horse and buggy. Standing up against the wall, fireman saved my child, but the child was bigger than the fireman. The chambermaid come to my door, said, "Get up, you lazy sinner. We need the sheets for tablecloths. It's almost time for dinner. No more booze, no more booze, no more booze on Sunday. No more booze, no more booze. Gotta get your can filled Monday." She's the only girl I ever did love, with a face like a horse and buggy. Standing up against the wall, fireman saved my child, but the child was bigger than the fireman. They woke me up at the early dawn. "Get out of bed, you dearie. The second shift is in the hall, and they're looking mighty weary." No more booze, no more booze, no more booze on Sunday. No more booze, no more booze. Gotta get your can filled Monday. She's the only girl I ever did love, with a face like a horse and a buggy. Standing up against the wall, fireman saved my child, but the child was bigger than the fireman. I've been a moonshiner for many long years. Spent all of my money on whiskey and beers. I'll go to some holler, I'll make me a still. I'll sell you a gallon for a $2 bill. I'll go to some grocery, drink with my friends. No women to bother, and watch what I spends. Lord bless them moonshiners, they all friends of mine. Their breath is more sweeter than the dew on the vine. It's moonshine for coffee and moonshine for tea. When supper time comes, boys, it's moonshine for me. I'll eat when I'm hungry, I'll drink when I'm dry. And if moonshine don't kill me, I'll live till I die. It's whiskey, rye whiskey, whiskey I cry. If I don't get rye whiskey, I surely will die. Now the ocean was whiskey and I was a duck. I swam to the bottom and get one sweet suck. But the ocean ain't whiskey and I ain't no duck. Hand me some cards, boys, I'll try out my luck. It's whiskey, rye whiskey, whiskey I cry. I don't get rye whiskey, I surely will die. I'm a rambler, I'm a gambler, I'm a long way from home. And if you don't like me, just leave me alone. I told you, I told you, I told you before. Don't make me no pallet, I'll sleep on the floor. It's whiskey, rye whiskey, whiskey I cry. If I don't get rye whiskey, I surely will die. If whiskey's a sin, boys, I'll fill up on crime. If a tree don't fall on me, I'll live a long time. Ain't got no women to marry, no children to ball. Best way of living, no family at all. It's whiskey, rye whiskey, how I do love thee. You killed my poor daddy,
God damn you, try me. Whiskey, rye whiskey, whiskey I cry. If I don't get rye whiskey, I surely will die.
Glorious, glorious, one keg of beer for the four of us. Glory be to God, there ain't no more of us. The four of us can drink it all alone. Drunk last night, drunk the night before. I'm gonna get drunk tonight like I never got drunk before. Oh, when I'm drunk, I'm happy as can be. Then I am a member of the Souse family. Glorious, glorious, one keg of beer for the four of us. Glory be to God, there ain't no more of us. The four of us can drink it all alone. Oh, the Souse family is the best family that ever come over on the Zuiderzee. There's the Highland Dutch and the Lowland Dutch, the Rotterdam Dutch and the other damn Dutch. Glorious, glorious, one keg of beer for the four of us. Glory be to God, there ain't no more of us. The four of us can drink it all alone. Beside the hill there stands a still where the smoke runs up to the sky. You can always tell by the smell of the well that the whiskey boys are nigh. It's the good old Mountain Dew, it's the good old Mountain Dew. Before we roll, let's take another bowl of the good old Mountain Dew. All learned men who use the pen have writ its praises high. It fills the air with perfume rare, distilled of wheat and rye. It's the good old Mountain Dew, it's the good old Mountain Dew. Before we roll, let's take another bowl of the good old Mountain Dew. Away with pills, it'll cure the ills of a pagan, Christian, or Jew. So off with your coat and wet your throat with the good old Mountain Dew. It's the good old Mountain Dew, it's the good old Mountain Dew. Before we roll, let's take another bowl of the good old Mountain Dew. Let the cherries grow, let the water flow, let 'em soak in the beer all day. Just give me enough of the primal stuff that they brew the mountain way. It's the good old Mountain Dew, it's the good old Mountain Dew. Before we roll, let's take another bowl of the good old Mountain Dew. When troubles start to ache your heart, only one thing left to do. Just ease your mind with the joy you'll find in the good old Mountain Dew. It's the good old Mountain Dew, it's the good old Mountain Dew. Before we roll, let's take another bowl of the good old Mountain Dew. Now old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for the privates three. Beer, 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 said the privates, merry men are we. There are none so fair as can compare with the fighting infantry. Now old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for the corporals three. Hut-two, hut-two, hut, said the corporals. Beer, 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 said the privates, merry men are we. There are none so fair as can compare with the fighting infantry. Old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for the sergeants three.
Right by squad, squad, right to the sergeants. Hut to, hut to, hut to the corporals.
Beer, 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 to the privates, merry men are we. There are none so fair as can compare with the fighting infantry. Now old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for the shaved tails 3.
We do all the works of the shaved tail. Right by squad, squad, right to the sergeants. Hut to, hut to, hut to the corporals.
Beer, 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 to the privates, merry men are we. There are none so fair as can compare with the fighting infantry. Old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for the captains 3. We want a 10-day leaves of the captains.
We do all the works of the shaved tail. Right by squad, squad, right to the sergeants. Hut to, hut to, hut to the corporals.
Beer, 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 to the privates, merry men are we. There are none so fair as can compare with the fighting infantry. Now old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for the chaplains 3. The army shot to hell, so the chaplains. We'd like a 10-day leave to the captains.
We do all the works of the shaved tail. Right by squad, squad, right to the sergeant. Hut to, hut to, hut to the corporals.
Beer, 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 to the privates, merry men are we. There are none so fair as can compare with the fighting infantry. Now old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for the colonels 3. Duh, what's my next command, said the colonels.
Army shot to hell, said the chaplains. We'd like a 10-day leave, said the captains. We do all the works of the shaved tails. Right by squad, squad, right to the sergeant. Hut to, hut to, hut to the corporals.
Beer, 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 to the privates, merry men are we. There are none so fair as can compare with the fighting infantry. Now old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for the generals 3. Beer, 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 said the generals. Beer, 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 said the colonels. Beer, 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 said the chaplains. Beer, 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 said the captains. Beer, 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 said the shaved tails. Beer, 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 said the sergeants. Beer, 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 said the corporals. Beer, 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 said the privates, merry men are we. There are none so fair as can compare with the fighting infantry. The landlord's daughter, she come in, we kissed her ruby lips with gin. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, when Johnson's ale was new. She said she was good as the best of us, and she drank more ale than the rest of us. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, when Johnson's ale was new. Well, the cabin boy was the next come by, and he'd never drunk, but he said he'd try. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, Johnson's ale was new. He swilled it down like a hog at a trough. He was left behind when the ship sailed off. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, Johnson's ale was new. The next come in was the bosun's mate, drinking twice as fast, 'cause he come in late. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, when Johnson's ale was new. He drank so much that he fell on the floor, and he floated out through the tavern door. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, Johnson's ale was new. The last come in was the landlord's wife, and she chased us out with a carving knife. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, Johnson's ale was new. Oh, he drunk so much of the ale and beers, they had to close the place for 11 years. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, Johnson's ale was new. When Johnson's ale was new, my boys, when Johnson's ale was new. Get you a copper kettle, and get you a copper coil, then cover with new mixed corn mash, and never more you'll toil. Just lay there by the June while the moon is bright, and watch the jugs a-fillin' in the pale moonlight. Build your fire with hickory, hickory and ash and oak. Don't use no green nor rotten wood, they'll catch you by the smoke. Just lay there by the juniper while the moon is bright, and watch the jugs a-fillin' in the pale moonlight. My daddy, he made whiskey, and my granddaddy did too. We ain't paid no whiskey tax since 1792. Just lay there by the juniper while the moon is bright, and watch the jugs a-fillin' in the pale moonlight.
We was 40 miles from Buffalo, forget it, I never shall. What a horrible storm we had one night on the Erie Canal. I was plumb full up of barley and getting full of rye. The captain, he looked down on me with a goddamn wicked eye, goddamn wicked eye. And the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we'll get a drink till we get to Buffalo, get to Buffalo. Now the cook, she had bright red hair and a blazing yaller dress. I hoisted her up to the top of the mast as signal of distress. But the winds begin to whistle and the waters begin to squall. We had to pull a signal down on the Erie Canal, the Erie Canal. But the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we'll get a drink till we get to Buffalo, get to Buffalo.4 days out of Albany, the barge hit on a shoal. We'd like to have been foundered on a chunk of Erie coal. I hollered to the hoggy on the towpath treading dirt. He jumped aboard and plugged the leak with an old red flannel shirt, old red flannel shirt. But there I was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we'll get a drink till we get to Buffalo, get to Buffalo. Halfway out of Syracuse, a pirate I did spy. I could see the skull and crossbones there waving up and high. So I shouted to the captain, "Hoist the flag of truce." He says, "You drunken bum, it's the Mary Jane out of Syracuse, out of Syracuse." But there I was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we'll get a drink till we get to Buffalo, get to Buffalo. By the time we got to Syracuse, the high mule, he was dead. The pilot had a broken leg, so I shot him through the head. The girls are all the police gazette, the captain, he's in jail. The only living son of a gun is left to tell a tale, left to tell a tale. And the Erie was rising and the gin was getting low. I scarcely think we'll get a drink till we get to Buffalo, get to Buffalo, get to Buffalo.
It was on a Monday morning, I headed for the north on a road off in travel when going back and forth across the old St. Lawrence and into Montreal. I loaded down my Packard with beer and alcohol. I loaded her down with alcohol, I topped her off with ale. I had to cross the customs and I knew I must not fail. They signaled at me with searchlights and a rifle call, but I drove right through the customs with a load of alcohol. Then the troopers and the revenuers soon took up the chase, but I was doing 95 and steady held my pace. I drove on through Aurora, Brushton and Malone. The only way they got to me was through the telephone. I come to Turner's Crossing, there's a train across the road. That's how they got the Packard, that's how they caught the load. And now I'm out in bail, boys, I guess I lost it all, waiting for my trial scheduled in the fall. They took me to the courthouse and put me into jail. I had a lot of friends, boys, but none to go my bail. Come all you young citizens, don't never take no chance. Don't carry the precious water that makes them sing or dance. Now whiskey is the life of man. Whiskey, Johnny, I'll drink whiskey when I can. Whiskey for my Johnny. Whiskey made me pawn my clothes. Whiskey, Johnny. Whiskey, give me a broken nose. Whiskey for my Johnny. Whiskey killed my poor old dad. Whiskey, Johnny. Whiskey drove my mother mad. Whiskey for my Johnny. I got a girl, her name is Lies. Whiskey, Johnny. She puts whiskey in her pies. Whiskey for my Johnny. I thought I heard the captain say, Whiskey, Johnny. I'll treat the crew in a better way. Whiskey for my Johnny. A glass of grog for every man. Whiskey, Johnny. And a bottle for the shanty man. Whiskey for my Johnny. It's whiskey stole my brains away. Whiskey, Johnny. The bosun pipes and I'll belay. Whiskey for my Johnny. Now whiskey weak and whiskey strong. Whiskey, Johnny.
Give me whiskey, I'll sing a song. Whiskey for my Johnny.